Previously on building Benny's movie park. I have an idea, and it's gonna be absolutely crazy, but I'm gonna try it. I think this quite explains what I'm trying to get at. So yes, now if I stand over here, I can simply walk inside, and then we end up over here. Actually, wait, let me just redo this entire wall here. Gotta go and put the trims on like this. Now this, I am seriously happy with. And gentlemen, welcome back to this brand new episode of building Benny's movie park in Planet Coaster. I'm a bit raspy today. Anyway, as you guessed, today is the brand new episode for Indiana Jones. So really, let's just work on Egypt and see where this goes. Wow, this is probably gonna go away in about an hour. So let's get to it. Okay, so first what I'm gonna do is paint this landscape just ever so slightly brighter, because of course this will be Egypt, and Egypt is very, very sandy. At least it is in the movies. I'm thinking something like this will do just fine. Not all the way sand, but this seems decent. Now I do actually have a very specific idea for today, at least how we're gonna do this. What I'm gonna do today is I'll build a few modular buildings, sort of, which I can interchange and add to each other to really build the entire city of Cairo. That seems a pretty cool, fun, but most importantly, efficient way to build all of this. I'm going to begin right here with just a very simply shaped building. I don't really know what this is all supposed to look like, but for that we have some reference material, which I'm going to be sure to use. So this is going to be like a small staircase, just like this, I think. The fun thing about this is it is going to be very, very similar to what we did in Realm of Rides, which almost leads me to believe that this park could even be a combination of Movie Park 1, 2, and Realm of Rides. Though I'm not sure I'm going to do a steampunk area again, but, well, we'll see how this goes. All of these parts definitely need a roof, because that's where you can kind of stand on it. So you have to make the stairs, but then here is going to be the same exact thing. Then right over here, you've got a little stair. What? Normal. Right over here, we've got a little staircase going all the way down. And then this is going to interlock with this building, maybe like that. It's a little bit high though. Okay, starting to look like something. I'm really just doing this one step by step so you can see everything I do for each building. I'm not going to show every building, but just the idea. So now let's spice this up using some windows. Let's see which ones are gonna fit, because we of course have a bunch of new ones. So that's a very usable door, maybe that as well. I'm just gonna put everything I can possibly use down here already. Now I know of course this is supposed to be 1930s Egypt, but I think it's gonna lean slightly more towards ancient Egypt. It's gonna be like a mix between the two. I know it's not super accurate, but I think it'll look just very nice. I think this is about it. So let's go and spread that all over. This door, for example, I'm pretty sure fits in just perfectly right over here. And I really like the windows that sit inside the frame, kind of. So using the doorway pieces, I'm trying to get that effect. Does mean we have to manually kind of fill in the gaps using the off-grid pieces. It does look really good. These also look fantastic, so we'll just use a bunch of different ones. This is definitely already starting to look like something. It's a bit plain though. Oh my god, look at this. That is perfect. Yes. Oh my god. Or maybe instead back here, same kind of thing. Yes, I love that. Another one of these up here, because it seems pretty nice. This is just adding a bunch of junk and unnecessary detail to make it look better than it actually is. There you go. It's definitely... Oh, I like that. And then also, I do remember doing this at the Realm of Rides Egypt as well. Adding a bunch of these pillars inside the walls, which is something many African buildings and architecture has. And well, since Egypt is a part of the continent of Africa, it kind of makes sense. Here, just like this, a whole row of them always really makes it look nice and detailed. Yes, I am pretty sure we also did that somewhere here. It just makes it look really nice. I don't know why, it's just cool. Let's go ahead and do that on every single side of this added section, and the same thing on the other side all the way to the end. Oh my god, I just came across this, and this reminds me of something.
That is one big pile of shit.
Just quickly in between, I have to add this somewhere. This is too perfect. Probably somewhere in the log flume ride, I'm guessing. Wait a minute, here, somewhere here. This is good. This is gonna be the Triceratops pen. That is one giant pile of shit. Perfect. Oh, that's great. Okay, moving on. What I was actually looking for is some scenery we can add onto this platform here, because everything I add now, I don't have to add later. I can just copy and paste the entire building. I mean, this is just one, of course, but here are some of these spots as well. as a quick little recall to Theme Park Tycoon 2. All of these are much more Egyptian than everything else, which is great. Finally get to use them, although maybe that was a bit too much. Let's put that underneath here, a bit more subtle. And I just came across this piece, which reminds me, what if we do like a cool little pattern on top here? For some reason, I feel like this could look really nice. Slightly lower, perhaps. Same thing over here. And then on the vertical ones as well. Does that look nice? It does add some definition to the building. Let's also add some junk up here, by the way, just to make the whole thing nice and clean, finished. Also, I just realized there are many of these pots. Many more than I thought. Look, there's like all sorts of shapes as well. That's great. That's the exact type of old bullshit we need. And of course, we can plant some plants, because Egypt definitely has a bunch of palm trees and plants type things. And in general, we just kind of need to spice this up with some color, and this definitely helps. Yeah, and I even think maybe towards the bottom here, around the edges, we can add some little ferns. Oh, that's really nice. Really have to make this come alive with all sorts of different elements. And that just reminded me, there's one very important thing we haven't done yet, and that of course are decals, specifically the damage decals. Here you go. If I put that on here, we just need to make sure the color is correct. Something like that. Then we can just go ahead and add all sorts of damage to this building, because this really is what makes it look old and used. I mean, look at this. That is just, oh, that is sick. Dude, this in combination with a very subtle brick texture is just, that is, I mean, look at that. That is perfect. Oh my god. This is truly incredible, this. I do have to be careful not to overdo it, but I think since this is very old, it works fine. I shouldn't forget, though, that this still isn't ancient Egypt, so, you know. But this is just a big creative liberty I'm taking, because it just looks so nice. I mean, look at all this. That's just lovely. Cracks too. Like, that looks so nice. The only thing that would make this even more perfect is if you can make these edges a bit more rough. Like, this is super smooth. From afar, it doesn't really matter, but of course up close, it's very, that's something you could potentially have done in Theme Park Tycoon 2, but it's gonna be a lot of work anyway. But overall, I think this is looking really good. Like, really good. Only thing is, we still have to do the back side, but that's the same exact thing, so I'll be right back with you. And boom, there you go. It's pretty simple on the back, but I don't know what's gonna, you know, happen yet with that. So for now, we'll leave it like this. Now, that is one building out of many we're gonna have to make, which, like I just said, I'm not gonna show you, but I will show you the arrangement. So right now, I'm gonna build a bunch of these off screen, and then I'll be right back with you and start creating the whole city. So, yes, goodbye.
3 days later.
Ladies and gentlemen, this turned out absolutely amazing. So what I've done is, this was the first building. I basically just duplicated them in different shapes, colors, sizes, and I added a bunch of pretty much just the same details to them. The shaping is just a bit different here and there. Added some fancier pieces I found, like this. And also these AC units, which makes it look a bit more modern, which is exactly what we need. Without those, it looks a bit too much like ancient Egypt, so that's definitely a good thing. Most of these buildings have them, along with a few of these tiny details. There's a bunch of shapes. I love this one, because it has the arch. It just looks very nice. And so, yes, using all these, we can simply go ahead and start building the Egyptian city. Now, I already noticed one little thing. I think we can use this one for the entrance of the coaster. Just move that over here. First, actually, let me get rid of this. Away with it. Also, this can go for now. Let's put that over there. And then we may have to rearrange the path a little bit, but I think this could work. Just something like this. Let's place that down. Very good. And then right here, this is where it connects to the path again. I think. Would have loved to make it go up here, but that's too steep. It's never gonna work. Now we simply have to make all of this look like it was always meant to be here. I suppose we can just start with a wall around it, like this. And then we gotta make sure all these details extend throughout the entire building. Shouldn't be too difficult, to be completely honest. There you go, just like that. And of course, the part where people go inside has to be opened up, creating a sort of doorway here. You can even copy entire towers, just like I'm doing here. Putting that on the edge here. By the way, this is also great. Adding some little sandy hills along the... Oh, yes. Oh, yes, mamma mia. Oh, look at that. That is lovely. Look at that. Oh, that makes it look so natural. Then next, I reckon maybe this building could also be used here, just leaning against it, as it were. Does that work? That has a pretty cool look. Yeah, I like that, especially since it has the same color. Then we just need to extend this even further. First, we definitely need a floor. Let's start with that. And that has to go all the way here, I think. Around this circular part, I'll make a circular wall, because I think that could look pretty clean in the end. Extending all of these elements on the sides to make it look like one big building. You have to excuse the randomness of this part of the video. It's just a lot of copy and pasting existing things. There you go, same thing on the other side. Wait, yes, and then in here, we can just put a staff building. There you go. There was already a door there anyway. That's great. All that needs is then just one of these bad boys and maybe like a sign that says staff only. And this thing to make it just a little bit more believable. Perfect. Anyway, let's continue with this. To be fair, the rest of this is going into the queue and I don't want to do that today. Today is just the city. So let's actually move on with the city. So I had the lovely idea to add yet another ride right here, because I'm simply not loving the lack of flat rides in this park. How about we put one of these here? We can very nicely decorate that using some towers maybe. Let's see if that works. The entrance definitely has to be somewhere at the back, because we do need a queue. And the exit could be somewhere on this side, I reckon, right here. We can always change that later. This needs a ton of work. That is for sure. I won't decorate this entire ride right now, but I do need a basic layout, because otherwise we don't know what everything around it can look like. So let's have a look. Definitely want to build a sort of tower around this ugly part. A little bit higher, I think. There you go. And I'm really going to try to make every ugly part of the interior covered up. So then you sort of get this construction, which could look very cool in the end. However, first, other stuff. This entire thing, I'm not sure where it's gonna end up being. It could just go right here, but I'm not entirely sure, so for now, let's just leave it here. Let's have a quick look at all these buildings. I think using this one, we can make the queue. Let's move that over here. We do have to be careful for the spinning, of course. It can't bump into it, so maybe this orientation is a bit better. Let's first just test it, see how far it actually goes. Right about there, and that works just fine. I mean, that is very close. Let's put that slightly further back here. Oh, that is crazy. Actually, wait a minute. This is kind of lame. That is just a straight path, isn't it? Why don't we do something a little bit more fancy with this? Possibly something like this. Wait, first, actually, let's make the path go around this hole, because that simply works really, really well. There you go, half circle. And then maybe here you can go a separate, maybe this instead is a bit cooler. And then I also think this building could work really well for an entrance. I didn't actually intend for it to be an entrance, but looking at it now, it seems to be pretty much perfect. Possibly somewhere here? Let's just try it, I don't know. Then this building definitely needs to be rearranged. Oh, that works really well. It'd be really cool, I think, to have like a street kind of vibe for the queue in the back here. First, I want to grab this building because I want to kind of finish this little street on the other side of the path. And this comes down to just finding the best angle for these buildings to fit along these streets. Make sure you see all the cool features they have. I'm really not sure for this one. Maybe right here? It's so hard. I don't know really what the layout's going to be. By the way, all of this is here just so I don't forget it exists. Those are nice for just kind of filling up the gaps. But anyway, then I'm also thinking maybe... honestly, maybe this one as well. It's very similar, but it could work like this, I think, to make it a bit different from the other one. Although that doesn't work very well. In general, that's not really that practical, I'm now noticing. Can't we just put it on the side instead? Right here? Just have to shove that in a little bit so it works. There. Easy work. So then I can grab this and move it a bit closer to it, so you have a little alley in between. And that is exactly what's gonna make this look like a city, like a village. Having all sorts of directions and ways you can take to make your way through Egypt. Here you go. Oh yes, this is going to be incredible. Then for the bumper cars, we definitely need to put them in because we need to know where it's gonna go in order to build around it. Looking at all of this, I think let's try it over here, because I think we can make this work with all the paths we already have. For example, if we remove this, we can put a path all around the ride, just like this, until right about here, I guess. Because of course that's going to be the wall around the city, and this has to somehow connect Oh wow, that is that is perfect. Around this edge, we'll put a bunch of these buildings again. Not gonna fill up the whole thing just yet, but for the idea. And then this is gonna be a bit of a plaza. So let's sort of edit this path to make it look like a big sort of, here you go. That's a bit, that's a bit weird. How about we just use the new circular stamp tool? There, perfect. And all we have to do is simply kind of make it fit around all these fancy edges we created, just like that. And this could be the perfect place for like a bazaar. First, let me just add some more buildings here to make this look really nice and alive. I also think the big arch building fits really well over here. This is really starting to get some shape, guys. It's not really that coherent yet, but just wait for it. Definitely have to make a path in between these two. Of course, we also need a few buildings over here on this side, and I'm not sure how this will work with the coaster track, but we're gonna have to just kind of make it work. If we put it like this, it does kind of curve with that track. That's good. So you could really push it quite far into it. We're just gonna have to make this look a bit nicer because that is very plain. Or like this. That seems to be fine as well. There are just a few elements that need to be rearranged that are in the way of the coaster supports. This just doesn't look really all that nice. For example, these two as well. And this is also not ideal. I can tell you that. However, maybe we can just grab the whole thing and put it somewhere else, like here. I think this will do just fine, actually. Just gotta stretch this all the way down so it matches the shape of the building. There you go. That's decent. And the back is a problem for later. Then here, I don't really know what this is gonna look like yet, but I do know I want to build a kind of little bridge that goes over it. And that, of course, connects all the way to this path. Beautiful. This is starting to get some shape. This is starting to look really quite nice. Another small one right next to the building we just placed down. Beautiful. All of this just works too well. Like it is so good. And it works especially well when you add a bunch of junk lying around in all these alleys. Because as you know, that's what really makes it come alive. This does need a little rope, however, because this is not accessible for NPCs. Here you go. Beautiful. Then for the little souvenir shop idea I had, I'm thinking maybe this building could work, but I'm not sure. It's a bit, square. I mean, we can always try because it does have a decent spot for them to come out right here. If we just get rid of this staircase, we should be able to just, yeah, that's good. We'll just add some of these windows here instead to finish that off. Then here, on the back side, same exact thing again. This has to be a doorway. I do think one of these arches would be better though. Otherwise, they're definitely gonna slam into some walls. That is not great. This stuff also has to move, I'm thinking just right here. Look, so now they come straight through this building on the way out, which is absolutely perfect. I love this. I really, really do. Especially this somehow just works so well. And I'm thinking on the back here, we should probably add some supports to this coaster that are just buildings, like using some arches or walls maybe. But, yes. Now, let's see what's next. For today, there's one more thing I'd like to do, and that is work on the outer wall for this area. Now, this is going to be very, very similar to Realm of Rides, like I said before. But to be fair, it worked really well then, and I'm sure it's going to work pretty well right now. Shaping is going to be pretty much the exact same thing from what I remember, at least. So it's definitely going to have some differences. For example, some of these wooden elements I think can look pretty sweet, and or some of that. And next, I've already got a pretty sweet idea. Let's make this a walkable wall. A walk. Let's first quickly see if this works at all, or if it looks nice, I should say. Say we're gonna have some big pillar here maybe, and then this is where the actual wall starts. Could we make this look nice and rounded? I think so. This is looking pretty promising. Yes. I mean, it's very clean, obviously. We can use some damage decals to make that a bit more random. It's nice. I quite like that. And I can also already tell this is going to connect absolutely beautifully to that building over there. Absolutely gorgeous. It is, yeah, it's way too clean. But actually, let me just try something right now. Just gonna add a few of these bad boys all over the walls so that hopefully it'll immediately just look a little bit more lived. Lived in. Here you go. The thing I love most about these is it actually reacts to light. So at times they almost look 3D, which is great stuff. Here you go. Is this better? That is already a lot. Wow. Okay, that does a lot, actually. Wow. So I think before continuing, we should probably first make the entrance to Egypt. And just now I remembered we have these parts, which are absolutely going to be freaking perfect. Let's have a look. We can make them pretty big. That is good. In general, I'm now wondering why I didn't use these in the buildings. We can add them later anyway. Yes, for example, I mean, this is not thick enough. That is too bad. What if instead we use doubles? It's not exactly the same thing. That is also pretty cool. I am wondering if this is still Egypt style. I'm not sure it is. What about the round pillars instead? It's a bit Greek, maybe, but I do think it fits. And then instead of one, we simply put two next to each other, which kind of gives it like a temple vibe. That could be very cool for the entrance, I'm thinking. Look. I think this might just work. For now, it's fine. I think we can always change it later if we want to. Let's continue building the wall. And what I can always do for the corners is just slapping on one of these to kind of make the transition nice and clean. And from this point, we can either make it go straight for a little bit or have it curve slightly. I actually think the curving idea might be slightly better. And then I think right about here is where I'll stop today because I don't really know. I keep saying this, but I don't know what this is going to look like just yet. So to play it safe, I'll just end it here. Now, this is looking super satisfying, I'm not gonna lie. I just noticed one thing, and I messed this up pretty bad, is all these cracks are now duplicated as well, which of course is not ideal. Thankfully not on the other one, so that's fine. And look what that does to the whole vibe. I love this. Do you know what? I think this might actually become one of my favorite parts of this park. Like Jurassic Park, as cool and nice as it is, it's my least favorite thing so far. But this right here has some serious potential. I'm just gonna go and add some more of these damaged decals. And then after that, I'll be right back with you, and I think we can close this episode for today. Seriously though, all of this is just fantastic. Look at that. Great stuff. Great stuff. Then for today, I'm thinking that is pretty much it. We've done quite a lot in one episode, and that's really because of how I did this. Somehow, I mean, those buildings took a long time, don't get me wrong. But overall, it's so quick to just build stuff using them. And so yeah, I'm very, very happy with the progress. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single future video, and then I hope I'll see you in the next one.